Hi everyone! So, my hair is just doing what it wants today, so I apologize in advance for that one. Hi! So this video is going to be in conjunction with a blog I did on my Patreon. If you are not familiar with Patreon, it is a fantastic site that supports creators, artists, musicians, all sorts of people, and there's a tiered system, and there's going to be a link below to that. Exclusive content for my patrons. There's going to be videos coming up that you guys are going to be able to view if you are a patron before everybody else. But this one I wanted to be public because I want it to be a conversational piece. I want to see what other people have to say about it. So like I said, it's in conjunction with the blog I did, and the blog title was, What is Art? And if you hear road noise, I'm sorry, I have my window open. It's gorgeous. It's like 75 degrees. No air conditioning, can't do that. Nope, not at all. So basically what I want to talk about is my definition of art and how I feel about it. And then I'm curious as to what you guys also think. Standard definition of art, expression, through a certain type of medium, or media, depending on which way you look at it. And yes, I agree with that. Art is definitely expression, but there are so many different types of expression. Like, the standard, okay, we have painting, we have drawing, we have sketching, okay, great. Those are the ones that we always think of. Well, what about, okay, maybe you think about sculpting as well. Or maybe you think about woodworking. Well, what about birds? Birds, they're special too. They want to say, I love you. So what about dance? What about architecture? What about 3D design? I have a friend who works with 3D models all day, and I'm like, that is art to me because I can't do that, and that's an expression. And he literally built models for our D&D campaign. To me, that's like, I can't do that. That's really cool. And to me, that's creation, and that's also what art is. Art isn't just expression, it is creation, making either, something out of nothing, or, taking that expression that you have and creating something with, movement, or with pieces of wood, or, like, landscaping. Landscaping is art. Have you seen some of those landscapes? I can't do that. There's just some stuff you kind of stare at and you go, nope, can't do that. There's so many different types of art, and a lot of people don't see them as art. I was actually talking to this friend of mine, and he's like, oh, I never thought of design, 3D design work as creative or as art. And I'm like, well, I do. There's so much skill that has to go into it, and so much effort, and so much just everything that you have to do with it. And to me, that is art. And it's insane because, like I said, that's not something I can do. Photoshop, digital art, digital art, but Photoshop, taking photos, that's art, because people don't all have the same eye. Because I can look at a sunset and I'm like, oh, that's pretty. But a photographer can look at a sunset and capture that specific part of it, and you're like, that is gorgeous. And sometimes, they're just as good as the sunset, even not, even better sometimes. I have a career in framing. I would say that is art as well, because you make the frames. You put down, excuse me while I fix my camera here. You put down the combinations to, make the artwork come alive. And in that case, that framing combination, that package you put together for that person, that is your art. That is your creative expression going into this piece, making it even more beautiful and even more able to be seen. Because that's what framing is supposed to do. You're supposed to frame the artwork, and it's supposed to come out, and you're supposed to go, oh my gosh, it's amazing! The other thing that I think art is important. Extremely. It makes me so sad that so many people, or so many teachers, and so many education systems are taking art out, taking music, which is also art, out of the education program. It breaks my heart, because what we're doing is we're taking, sorry, small educational rant. I was a teacher for 4 years, I can do this. We're taking a generation of kids who stare at these things all day and have no imagination. They don't know what it is to sit there and create anything. You know, they have everything cookie cutter for them. I worked with a teacher, and don't get me wrong, I respect this teacher, and I understand how it works sometimes. Sometimes art projects are scary, and art class is scary, and, you know, you're like, I can't plan something. I get it. I do. But cutting out all the shapes for these kids and then having them glue it in a specific order rather than letting them cut it out, and the shapes don't have to be perfect. Basically what you're doing is you are taking those shapes that you have cut out. Oh, they're perfect. Look at that. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you can tell the second grader didn't cut those because they are perfect. I keep looking at the tiny little image on my screen of me, so if I, like, don't look at the camera, I'm sorry. You're basically taking the child and you're like, copy this. There's no artistic expression in that at all. Give them the shapes and show them, hey, this is what we're doing, and let them do it. Let them cut out the shapes. That teaches them spatial awareness. That teaches them to understand where the colors are going to go, how to, you know, grasp things and glue things and put their own spin on it. I mean, let's say you're trying to do, I don't know, Monet's water lilies. I don't know why you would do that for a second grader, but you're trying to show them how to do that. Well, you're not going to tell them to specifically copy it. No, you're going to show them the technique that Monet used to get this, and then you're going to kind of see their interpretation of what they think water lilies would look like. That's cool. That's different. You know, that's art. That's teaching a skill that they would need to know. When I was a teacher, I taught handwriting. And to me, handwriting is just a precursor to calligraphy, which, of course, is art. And I loved, okay, some kids just can't get it. I get it. Some kids don't have the dexterity to sit there and, you know, do this. But now, like I said, we're creating a generation of kids who just know how to sign their name really fast, and, you know, it's just a big giant line. And they don't know how to make the cool connections and the cool letters. And I had second graders that absolutely loved it, and then I had second graders who hated it. That's just what you have. It's just, you know, personalities. But at the same time, it teaches them patience. It teaches them, you know, to slow down, to really grasp, you know, the movement in it, and how they can, as they get more steady, they can, you know, make the letters even more perfect. That it teaches so much control. It may not specifically be very artistic, but it's a precursor to something else that they could do. It shows that they're able to control themselves, and they're able to, you know, who cares if they can type? Every kid knows how to type now. Every kid. They probably know how to use their cell phones better than us. Blah. Yay, they can type on a phone. They can use their thumbs. Great. But can they, you know, paint a straight line? Can they take a pencil and just draw a straight line? Not many people can, to be honest. I like to be one of those people that can. I like drawing straight lines, and I like, because those teachers that I had in school, my art teachers, my handwriting teachers, my English teachers, had the passion and the knowledge that creativity and art and music and all of those things are important to educate a young mind. If I didn't have those art teachers that I had, I wouldn't be able to do half the things that I do. I wouldn't be the person that I am. I had so many influential teachers. And I thank God every day that I'm just like, I had those teachers. I had them that they pushed me to better myself. They pushed me to keep going with those obnoxious, curls in cursive and the straight lines in the printing, the Zahner Bloser. Like I said, I'm not the perfect, cursive. But it teaches you so much. I have so much respect and so much love for writing and music and poetry and all types and all forms of artwork because of those people who decided and understood what art was and how important it is. I worked in daycare too. Even 1-year-olds, they have their handprints and you put their hands down and they just do this. It's fun. They don't have to match exactly, and you clean off their hands afterwards so they don't eat the paint. Even my husband, who works in a 2-year-old room, they do these projects and they make stockings and they show the kids, hey, this is what we're making. And if they glue their pieces in the wrong spot, who cares? That's that person's stocking. It's cute and it lets them express themselves and it shows individuality. I think about one of my favorite Dr. Seuss books. It's called Hooray for Diffin' Day. It was one of the last ones that they actually found that he wasn't able to finish. So Jack Perletsky, a children's poet, I believe he was a poet laureate as well, and Lane Smith, the illustrator, finished it. I absolutely love it. And throughout the book, it's, all about teachers and the school and how their teachers are crazy and goofy and they teach them about chrysanthemums and smelling and, all of these weird things. And the principal's worried about a test. And, he's like, oh no, we have to take this test. We have to do this. We have to do this now. And one of the teachers stands up and goes, you don't have to worry about this test. We've taught you such and such. We've taught you this. But the most important thing is we've taught you how to think. That's so important. Creativity, imagination, art, it helps. It molds and it shapes. And that's where we get people like Einstein and Salvador Dali and all of these different artists, Norman Rockwell, all of these people, they weren't cookie cutter people who just, glued their little pieces of paper in the exact spot that they were supposed to because they were trying to match something. No, they didn't fit the mold because they were creative, because they were ingenuitive, because they were intelligent, because of the way that we didn't take for granted the things that we need to teach. Now, don't get me wrong, some of those people, they have difficult histories and education systems probably, didn't work for all of them, but at the same time, those people are the ones that we look up to and the ones we want to emulate and think about and how original they were. And how are we going to continue to be original if we don't have art? And art being the huge umbrella term of poetry, writing, music, dance, theater, all of those things. If we don't have those, what are we? What are we? We're just there. What does that show for the generation? It baffles my mind. And that's why I really wanted to get this video out here and wanted to get your guys' opinion and thoughts and see if you agree with me about what art is and how it's a creative, it's an expression, it's creation, it's important, And I know I got kind of on a tirade about the education system, but to get my point across, it had to be there. I am very, very passionate about having art and music and all of those things stay in the education system. I'm not saying that sports aren't good. Can I throw a football? No. Do I need to throw a football? No. Are sports important too? Yes. Exercise is definitely important. But so is your brain and imagination. So think about it. If you have a different opinion, a different thoughts, if you want to leave a comment below, if you want to make a video of VR, that would be great. I want to have this conversation with you guys. And like I said, you can find the blog on Patreon. You can find a lot of different things. I have monthly prompts. I have a lot of different content that's coming. Like I said, this is going to be my video recording day, so I'm going to have like 1 or 2 more videos that I'm going to be recording that my patrons actually might see first. So I do want to thank my patrons that I do have for supporting me with all of this. I love you, and I appreciate you. You are fantastically awesome. All of the links for those things are going to be below. I am working on a website. I think I said this in my previous video. It's not ready yet. I am working on it. Not going to put the link just yet, but once it's done, it's going to be in the links of my videos. So you can find me on Patreon. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, all those lovely things. And I will see you later. Bye.